Just crossed over into another Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters Paranormal Podcast, brought to you by WKTV. I'm Wayne Thomas. Buckle in as we delve deep into the obscure. But first, let's welcome back my friend and co-host, Kim Colleen.
Hi, thanks everybody. Good to be back for another exciting show. And I think we should kind of clue in just real quickly why the costume, or who we are, if you haven't guessed already.
Yeah, I think they're going to catch on though. Once
Okay,
they meet our guest.
good. Men in Black, if you haven't.
Yeah, well, we did that because our guest actually has been 10 years with MUFON as a field investigator. Her bio is very extensive. You want to cover a couple of those things?
Yeah, so Marie Cisneros.
Yep.
Okay,
You did it right. Yeah,
right.
you got it right.
She has the interest in the unknown, the bizarre and the mysterious, our kind of people.
Yeah, I called her fascinating. She
Yeah.
says, other people just call me weird.
Yeah.
But weird works on this show. I think Marie is going to prove to be fascinatingly weird. I love her already. I think you all will too. But she's also, let's just run down this list. Lead investigator, reporter for Paranormal Muskegon, CEO of Cygnus Research. That's a blog archivist.
Yeah, I do research, locally, but yeah, I have a blog too. It's called Cygnus Research.
ULC minister and officiant. You have an Associate's of Applied Science degree and a Bachelor's of Science degree in Medical Science. I already mentioned 10 years as a field investigator with MUFON. Astrologer, tarot card reader, and then this one really fascinates me because we've never had this kind of a person on our show before. Numerologist.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've had a cryptozoologist, demonologist, astrologist.
That's right. Is there any ologist that we haven't had?
I thought we had them all, but now.
Yeah.
And a ufologist. So
And we had a ufologist, right?
Ufologist,
Because Bill Konkoleski was on the show.
Yes.
And actually, you worked
okay.
under Bill Konkoleski when you were with MUFON for 10
Yeah.
years.
Well, yeah, he's still my boss. So
He still is.
wow.
your boss.
yeah, he
Okay.
still is. I'm still with MUFON.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we had Bill on here, and then he has this book, Experience.
Yeah. I'm aware of the book. I haven't read it, but I interviewed him for the one-on-one column for the MUFON Journal a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So I think it was out then, but I'm not sure.
I thought you just did another interview with one of the MUFON people recently. I saw something on that.
Yeah, he's actually the lead investigator too, Daniel Snow. So yeah, I did an interview with him, and because he actually works in Muskegon, so I thought, well, cool, another MUFON person here in Muskegon.
Maybe
so.
real quickly, if people don't know what MUFON is, maybe real quickly, just a couple sentences, can you describe what MUFON is?
MUFON stands for the Mutual UFO Network. They've been around since the early 60s, and their mission is to educate and investigate reports, UFO reports, or anything anomalous. Actually, we're trained in even things like sightings of entities, or
So it's not solely just UFO sightings.
No. I mean, that the phenomena can range from, that's a big range there, from what you call like lights in the sky up until close encounters, even up to CE5s, which would be if someone was actually harmed by something, But
So
it's
like abductions?
yes,
Is that what you're saying?
yes. There is actually what they call the experiencers group, where if someone thinks that they've have had that experience, then they talk with them and work with them through that. So
Okay.
Right. Well, Bill was abducted every couple years as a child, actually. How about you? Were you ever abducted?
Well, I've had some experiences through my lifetime that fit the criteria of what some of the abduction experience is, but what that was, I'm really not ready to say, I guess, to know for sure. To
Bill also had the out-of-body experiences.
yeah.
Where I don't know if you feel like you can look down on your body from.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had at least once that I've had the out of the body experience, and I was very little. I was actually, we're in not really a car accident, but where my father had stopped the car all of a sudden. Of course, back then you didn't have seatbelts, so I'm there talking to my brother and my sister in the back seat. So we stopped, and I hit my head, on the dashboard. So, and I recall actually being outside the car, looking down, at me. So that's probably,
It might have been a near-death.
a near-death
Yeah.
experience. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
That can turn
So-
on things for people's
absolutely, yeah.
minds. Yeah. You're into so much. So what do you spend most of your
know.
time doing? I thought you were done with MUFON, but apparently not.
No. Yeah, it's been over 10 years, a little over 10 years. So I think I started in 2008. But so I was a state director for a short time out of Montana through a group called the KEG. It's a case assistance group that they used to have. And when they had like an overflow and didn't get cases done in a certain amount of time, and then, we would go in and do the cases for them. So I've actually done cases in Montana, Oregon, and Kansas. So through the international MUFON group, and some of them pretty interesting. The two that from Montana were very interesting because they involved the Maelstrom Air Force Base and UFOs.
So I read somewhere that UFO activity is more heavy around Air Force bases. Is that true?
Yes, well that's what I have read also, and they have nuclear missiles at Maelstrom. So the cases that they've had where they've seen it was a UFO over the missile sites, and of course there was a case back in early '67 where they all went offline. All bing, bing, bing. All of the missiles went offline, and they didn't know why. So that was one of the most well-known cases. But when I was investigating cases in Montana, I got one where they said that there was a UFO sighted over there, the base, and the lights went out at the base for over 10 minutes. But even though it was a really good case, just because the person didn't want to become involved with it, I guess he was in the part of the Office of Special Investigations at Maelstrom and didn't want to come forward. So, understandably.
Well, I asked Bill Konkoleski when he is in here, is there a government cover-up or a conspiracy? They're trying to keep this information from us?
I don't know.
He said
Maybe
there
he
was.
thinks so.
He come right out and
I
said
think
so.
there's been a lot where
well,
they
he talked about Blue Book, I think.
Yeah, Project Blue Book, but it may just be a case of they're maybe just as perplexed as the rest of us are about what it is, and I'm sure that there are certain things that they have to keep under wraps for, military purposes too.
Sure.
So,
And public
know.
panic.
Well, yeah.
Let's not forget about that, right?
yeah, it could be.
It's all for our own good, I guess.
Some might panic. Some might be say, yes, we knew it all along.
Right. What is it, Area 54? Is that what it's
Area 51.
51. See,
Yeah.
I'm not up in my...
How about some good
Area
hoaxes? Have you debunked anything?
Yes. I've had the occasion at least 10 times. And
10
they'll
times?
send at least that. They'll send you a photograph and, something really amazing. Then it's not only a point of that you have to say, oh, yeah, this is a hoax. You have to prove why it's a hoax. So then, use photo forensics, to check out the photograph. And the one was a case where they had actually took a photograph, I think probably in a reflection of the lights, the fan inside their dining room or something. I don't recall exactly what, but so I said, yeah, but if you take it, it makes it look like it's outside because it's through a window. It's just a reflection.
I have a
of it,
photo
so.
just like that, just like you're describing. It's my ceiling fan, and it has different globes
Yeah.
on it. but it reflected against the window, and it looks like they're outside. A place was asking for photos, even if you knew they weren't UFOs, to send them in. And this was a good example. It sounds like you're describing my picture.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find it lately, but that's what
Somebody
it
took your picture.
yeah,
Right.
It looked like spaceships, like 3 or 4 of them outside the window.
Yeah.
But it was just a reflection from my ceiling fan.
Yeah. Well, I have a pretty good sense, a BS meter, I like to call it. So
yes.
if you look at it and say, yeah, that's not real. So, but I have to prove that it's not real. So I have a similar light on my porch. So I went and took pictures of that. I said, this is what they did right here. So,
Yeah, I wasn't
Wow.
trying to create this picture. It just happened to show
Yeah,
up, and it
yeah.
looked like spaceships outside my window. Right.
That's cool.
Yeah. How about crop circles?
well, I've never had an opportunity to see a crop circle. I'd like to see that, or actually, go inside it because they say the energy fields that you're
Can maybe be measured.
inside. Yeah, that would be cool. No, I haven't had that opportunity, so
10
I'm still
years,
awaiting
so
that.
you
10
must have
years,
seen
no
some
crop
stuff.
circle.
And Michigan's had some really good cases.
Yes, they have. I agree.
Over Lake Michigan, I know.
The 1994 flap was probably the biggest, and the probably one of the best cases worldwide. And that's kind of cool that it happened in Michigan.
Right.
I did get a chance to talk with Mike Walsh for Paranormal Muskegon about that because he was he worked for the Muskegon Chronicle, so he ended up getting the through the Freedom of Information Act, he got the radar tape recording of that. So I listened to that, which is chilling because the radar guy, that was at the National Weather Service,
Right.
became involved.
That
so,
one sticks in my mind.
Yeah.
I know Bill was over. He's over on the other side of the state, so he likes the ones over by Ann Arbor more. But this one was over in West Michigan.
Right there in Muskegon, became involved through that. And I think they were seen by over 300 people in at least 3 or 4 counties, so all the way to Muskegon.
What year was this?
1994,
Okay.
March 8th, I think March 7th and March 8th.
So if somebody wants to Google that.
Oh, yeah, it's a big case, just 1994 Michigan flap, and that case comes up because he was watching them on the radar, and he says, oh my God, he says, I don't know what these are. He says they were huge compared to what the plane blips were. He said they were flying in formation, but it was reported by police officers, and they were seeing them at the same time that it was being tracked on radar and being seen in the sky. And I think it's one of the best cases there are out there.
Yeah.
The proof that, there's something going on there.
Cops are chasing it and
Yes,
stuff, right?
yeah.
It's reported by people that are upstanding citizens.
Yeah.
And when it's a UFO, it's like hundreds of people see it.
Yeah.
I mean,
How do
it's
you
pretty well
discount that?
I know.
You
It's
can't discount
substantiated.
that. Did you work on that case personally
No,
then?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't come with until MUFON until 2008.
Gotcha.
So I would love to have
Yeah.
worked on that, but yeah, I was really glad to have the opportunity to talk to Mike Walsh about it. So
Very cool.
he's been on, I think he was on Ancient Aliens. He's been on
Yep, I watched
Larry
that.
King show
Yep.
talking about that case.
Very
so.
cool. What's your
Yeah, it
take
was.
on the Michigan Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah, the Michigan
it's
Triangle.
Michigan Triangle, which is sort of like, for our viewers and listeners, the Bermuda Triangle, which has had a history of ships going down,
Planes.
planes, sort of that same philosophy. Like if you go through that triangular area. So what's your take on what they call the Michigan Triangle?
Well, there's definitely something there, whether it's just anomalous weather conditions or some sort of magnetic anomaly also. From what I read is that over 6,000, 8,000 ships have went down over the
Right.
Great Lakes.
Yeah, I had that
Yeah.
same stat. 8,000 ships
Yeah.
sunk. Right.
In Lake Michigan itself, it's been over 1,000 since the 1700s. And I think the ones that stood out for me was the case of the Thomas Hume. It used to be called the Albrecht. they had renamed it with Charles Hackley. And even though they found that shipwreck in 2006, they never knew, why it went down, whether it was because there was no wreckage.
Right. Now, Charles Hackley is an important person
Oh,
in
yes.
Muskegon.
Yes, yes,
He's
absolutely.
like the founder of Muskegon.
Yes, he's the founder of Muskegon, basically. Hackley Library, Hackley Hospital.
Yeah. And it was
Hackley
his
Park.
schooner. He owned that schooner, right? The
Yes,
boat
he did.
that went down. And obviously everybody died.
Yep, they lost seven crew members
Yep.
on that one.
But they did recover the ship?
Yeah,
Is that what
I
you
think,
said?
175 years later?
Oh, man.
Yeah, or 75.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
117 years or
117,
something. But
yeah.
lumber, Muskegon was one of the busiest ports back then because of the lumber industry out of
Mm-hmm.
Michigan. And so what they would do is they'd run this schooner from Muskegon over to Chicago. And then they were coming back from Chicago empty when they went down.
Okay.
Right, and then I have a reference too to the triangle. The triangle runs from Benton Harbor, draw a line up to Ludington, and then over to Wisconsin, Manitowoc.
Yeah.
Yeah, Manitowoc. And so that's your triangle. Then back down to Benton Harbor again. It takes up, the southern part
That's
of
a big area.
yeah,
I mean,
of
Yeah.
Lake
Yes, it
Michigan.
is.
But my reference is with Flight 2501 in 1950. It's still missing. They found 9 ships since they've been looking for it. Haven't found it. There's been more than 40 planes that have gone down in this triangle. And there's other things too about Lake Michigan, the underwater.
Stonehenge. Yeah, the Michigan Stonehenge. Yeah, that is, I think, is a great story. It's like Michigan has a Stonehenge of their own.
I know. That's
Yeah.
cool. I
They're-
read about that.
Yeah, they're keeping that under wraps where it actually is. And they said they found a formation of stones similar to Stonehenge, and it actually, one of the center stones looks like it has a mastodon carving on it, which mastodons haven't been around since
Well,
12,000 years,
yeah,
something
12,000
like
years
that.
is what I read too. Yeah.
I saw some
But,
pictures of that underwater.
yeah, that's-
I know they want
was
to keep
amazing.
it a secret where it is, but I think you know where it is.
No, I wish I did.
I thought it was in some bay or something.
Yeah,
Was
Grand
it-
Traverse Bay. I think they said it was. I could be thinking of the Confederate gold.
Was that was
Oh,
that
great.
Andy?
Now we're going to
Oh,
have all these people
I
heading
know.
to Traverse City.
Yeah,
I don't know. Was that Andy O'Reilly that had said it was in the bay? I don't know.
I think so. Yeah,
You
because
work
we
with
kind of
Andy.
talked. I do. I work with Andy O'Reilly. So
See, right-
he's another one of my bosses.
Synchronicity because
Yeah.
he interviewed me when he was a
Oh, did he?
DJ with WFGR
Oh,
one
cool.
Halloween. Yeah, he was doing the morning show, so it's all coming back around.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the Petoskey stone, people don't realize it's a fossilized coral.
Right.
And at one time, Michigan was down by the equator. That's what this proves.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we were down by the equator at one time, and then when the crust shifted, I think that's why maybe the mastodon shows up. Of course, who knows? Back in prehistoric times, this whole area was apparently by the equator, though. Yeah, this is very interesting.
yeah.
People come on this show and they talk about some of the same stuff. That's why I have this map already prepared, because they talk about lake monsters and different things that happen out in that triangle. And like you said, the ship has been found, but was it a storm that took it down? There are some bad storms in these Great Lakes. People don't realize there's
Right.
more shipwrecks in the Great Lakes than there are in all the other bodies of water combined.
Yeah,
And-
because I think you have these pop-up storms, right? That, this water almost
They're
acts like an
serious.
ocean.
Right.
I mean, some of these swells can get so high, it could take down these boats.
The plane crash that I made reference to, they've never found any sort of wreckage for that, and they've looked a lot. But whether it could have been a storm still. I mean, it could just be a storm. A lightning bolt took it down, but where is it?
Yeah. I did read something curious about that, because a lot of them do mention that nothing, they didn't find any of the wreckage, but a lot of debris and actual bodies did wash up, to shore. But apparently there was a woman that was interviewed about the case, and said that she was sleeping, but she had heard a plane going overhead, like it had circled several times, and then she heard an explosion.
So you're making reference to
Yeah,
2501.
2501,
And the
but
bodies came washing up over by Benton Harbor, was it?
I think it was more like South Haven, that they believe that, and that's where I think that she lived. It's at a mile offshore, but so she's thinking that perhaps they should be looking closer to South Haven for any wreckage. But it's possible maybe they didn't find anything because it actually blew up midair.
Yeah.
So, it's tragic, but it was one of the biggest flight disasters in U.S. history at that time.
Yeah, there's
it's
a
still-
lot of history, not just Lake Michigan, but all the Great Lakes. And they say Lake Superior doesn't give up her dead. They have those underwater caves that I think bodies get trapped in Lake Superior, right?
Yeah.
You know, we have the story there, the Edmund Fitzgerald,
Yeah.
that we've made reference to on this show. But I haven't heard you talk about really the Edmund Fitzgerald.
I know the song.
Yeah.
Well, not
Right.
to sing it, but
No.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't sing on this show.
No. We dress up. We don't sing.
No. Well, I can't sing, but I will sing, but not today.
Bill Maid said that pretty much that life on other planets or other places, moons of planets, is statistically inevitable. He made reference to 100 sextillion inhabited or places that can be inhabited. And have you seen his shows? He does UFOs over in Michigan, and then new UFO sightings. He does 2 different shows. Yeah, I saw the one where he did over in Michigan, and yeah, it was a big long formula that he worked out. But yeah, it not only is it statistically inevitable that there's life, intelligent life on other planets, it's eminent that they will be here if they're not here already. They're coming. What's your opinion on that? 10 years in
10 years.
10 years.
Well, any opinion that I give is my opinion
Okay.
and not
Okay, we
MUFON,
can-
so it's
Alright.
not
We can
as an
handle that.
investigator. I do have to put that disclaimer out there.
That's
Good one.
okay.
It's only my, opinion is that I believe that humans have never been alone. That there's always been others, whether where they're from or what that constitutes is still an unknown. To say that we know, all there is to know about the phenomenon, even if we come to the fact that yes, the UFOs are real, and they constitute someone or something that is behind them or flies them, then there's a lot we still don't know, because it is a phenomenon. It isn't just, it isn't just craft in the sky that you see. There's a lot there. Goes a lot along with the paranormal. There's UFO sightings where people will see cryptoids and Bigfoot. So that's all connected there too. So
You moved right into my question, because that's what I wanted to bring up, whether there is a connection, because like you said, people see Bigfoot and it happens to be at the same time, we've been seeing some lights in the sky. Or what about Mothman? Is Mothman really some kind of an alien creature?
yeah, it's possible. I haven't really done a lot of the research into Bigfoot as much, or even Mothman, but I'm definitely of the opinion that there's something.
Well, I want to take this
Something
a
there,
step
so-
farther. This was going to be
Into Mothman.
This was going to be my final thought, but we're going to
okay.
use superstition for the final thought.
Okay.
But extraterrestrial sex. Are there aliens that are having sex with humans or with other animals? So do we have a crossbreed between alien and human life?
That's a good question. I think that there is something to the whole hybrid story, that people or humans are manipulated, maybe genetics. They have been manipulated in the past. I think the idea that they're actually having sex might be.
Oh, it could have been
little bit
created
too
in a test tube.
I
maybe.
think so. Yeah, I think that might be more like it. That it's
Okay. Right.
because there are cases where people say that they've been taken on board ships and they're, they've had experiments conducted on them, or they believe that their, ova were taken, or, sperm were taken, and then they were showed later on in other dreamlike states that they see their offspring or what they believe are hybrid offspring. So I don't know if that actually constitutes the aliens and humans getting together in that way. Maybe they don't need to.
Right. Well, like you said, it created in the test tube.
Yeah.
So were you an X-Files fan?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think it used to come on Friday night, so it's like I had to watch that.
Of course.
So we're not sure whether Scully's baby maybe was part alien.
Oh,
I think Mulder had something to do with it.
I mean, yeah, possibly.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen reports from women that say, "Oh, the best sex ever was with an alien."
Oh my
Yeah, better than any sex
Really?
they ever had with a human. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
It's scary stuff. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
we used the intro for the Twilight Zone for you, because you're so fascinating. You're in all these different areas. Now, you started your CEO of your own company, research company. Is that right?
yes, that's Cygnus research. So it's kind of the mission is to explore new paradigms of, archaeology and basically some of the sciences and the paranormal and unknown. So I've just kind of started into, putting it on the blog. I've done research just for probably about 30 years on different areas. I have my certain favorites of things that I like to research. So some of those aren't on the blog, but
I read that.
Yeah.
Paradigms.
the,
I'm like,
yeah.
paradigms? What is paradigms?
I
well,
think
just
you
kind
need to
of like
explain
new
that.
new thinking in sciences, because like the Michael Cremo is someone that's been really involved with pushing back some of the timelines of the human existence as an intelligent species, because they like to make us think that humans were before 40,000 years ago or so, that we were, in caves and, wearing skins and didn't know how to do anything. But, there's evidence to show that humans were very, intelligent and,
Had
we're able
flushing
to.
toilets and different
Well,
stuff.
I don't know about flushing toilets, but
I thought I saw that.
that's possible. Maybe not riding around on dinosaurs either, but sometimes it seems like there's a reluctance in some of the mainstream science to push the timeline of humanity anything past 6,000 years. So I think that we're a lot older than that as a species. So
I bet there's never a dull moment around your house.
I'm kind of an informophile. They probably just tune me out.
But we got to get
Luckily,
to
I live alone.
numerology too. 'Cause
Right.
That's
on the list. And that
that's
was a
on
big
the
one with
That's
me.
big.
Right.
That's
that
a
was a
big
big one with
oh.
me. Are there certain numbers? I know I've heard of master numbers like 11, 22, and 33. See, 33 was my football number. So I looked it up, and 33, it's spiritual, religious, master teacher. And then we also looked up, Kim gave me some numbers, her birthday, and 12 represents independence, harmony, completion, perfection. 18 is independence, humanitarian. 26 is wealth, prosperity. I use 26 because we did our 26th. This is our 26th show.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Wealth and prosperity, and then 25th show would have been companionship and relationships, which is
right. Oh my gosh, that goes right hand in hand.
because it was our partner in our radio show that we had on last
Yeah.
time. So it was
And we've
our
become really good friends over the
companionship,
course of the years.
relationship.
Yeah.
right. But 69, which is
It's
in
the year I was born, yeah.
family, health, harmony, and compassion.
I
So
kind of
that's
feel that
Kim.
all
Yeah.
ties into me.
But that's me. That's
you.
my research. I want to know
Oh, okay.
certain numbers maybe that resonate with you, or that you find are very significant right now.
Well, there's a certain set of numbers that have become significant to me over the last few years. There's a set of 3 different numbers. So I don't know if I should say them or not, but since they're my numbers.
Oh, it's because it's
Oh,
personal.
well.
Yeah, more personal numbers.
right.
You
But
don't
it's
have
a
to
set
say
of
the
3
numbers, maybe just say the meaning behind them.
Well, I guess that's it's just because the numbers would come up in my life, like say if I would be on my phone or
Yeah.
I would see the numbers, and it seemed to me to be something that at that time needed to be changed. Whatever I was thinking about or whatever was in the situation, it was something change needs to be made when I saw that number. So I don't know if that has anything to do with numerology or not, but numbers are energies. You know, the universe is basically, you know, created with numbers. If you've ever heard of the Fibonacci number series.
No, but I saw a program on TV, Numbers, where they solved the crimes. by
Oh,
looking
okay.
at the
Well, that's
numbers.
cool too. Well, like anything in nature it uses like a Fibonacci number series. So, like if you'll see in spirals they grows in spirals. Like if you'll see like flowers or plants will grow in spirals, and it's related to the, you know, the spiral of life basically. But I did write a few things down.
Yeah.
Your email
I'm
came a
very
little
interested.
late.
Please share.
A little late too. I didn't get like your birth information to do the numerology, and I didn't bring my tarot cards. I'm sorry, but
yeah, because Marie also reads tarot, so that would have been
Yeah.
interesting. I'm the only one that hasn't been read so far.
oh, okay.
Well, that's an invitation to come back.
Yeah.
I know. We always have an excuse to get you back here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess I don't do a lot with tarot anymore. But,
Oh, okay.
Maybe as a
Only on
Just
Halloween.
well, just kind of as a learning about, you know, life experiences and that. But anyway,
Yeah.
in
oh,
your
goodness.
name, like the first name comes out a 20 or 2, and then the last name Thomas is a 22 or 4. So added those together. Well, actually, the 20 and 22, and that's the bigger number, is 42. And that would mean comes up as love, money, creation. So it's a fortunate number of karmic reward, promises assistance of those in power, as well as close associations with people of high rank and position. So this number increases financial success. He's just like laughing. Well, you know, it could still be in the future.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I know, right?
ability
You
to
haven't won the
achieve
lotto
happiness.
that, you know.
No.
Okay. That I don't know about.
Right.
Well, there you go. Ability to achieve happiness and love denotes gain through romance, the law, or the arts. Beware of self-indulgence or arrogance and love, financial careless career matters. So because if that number is abused, then later on in incarnation it could revert to one that's a little bit more difficult. So once you strike it rich, you know, don't forget where you came from.
Wow.
People, right?
So in the single digit number is that you're loved by your friends, you're devoted, you have love of art and music. So you love nice home, surroundings, but you cannot abide by discord or arguments. You make friends easily, money comes easily to you, hopefully. So there's attachment to nature, and you have good manners, you're polite, but will not hesitate to voice your opinion.
I'm even polite to Google. I'm like thanking Google for things. Yeah, I'm like,
Well,
what am I doing here?
The great
And you're
God
like a
Google.
nature guy because, like, when you go turkey hunting, you take
Oh,
the
yeah.
feathers
I'm definitely a nature
and
guy.
he makes things out of the feathers. So very nature and into that sort of thing, you know? So-
Music. I created my own class as a senior,
Oh,
which was
great.
to go to concerts.
Yeah.
That was a great class. No test. Go to concerts and art museums and stuff. That was the class I created as a junior and took as a senior.
And that's just a basic thing that I got from the name.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things she hit on.
Numerology is another ology. I don't know if there's any numerologies out there.
I don't know.
We've gone through
We'll
a bunch
find
of
them.
Right.
If there are,
That
we'll
was
find
great.
them.
I was really
was
interested
cool.
in that. Yeah.
So let's just say he plays, he does the lotto or something like that. What are his numbers? Did you say 42 was his number?
Oh, from my name.
Yeah, 42 for your name.
42.
Yeah, for your personality number is your day and month, and you know, like your life path is the whole birth date put together.
Okay.
So I mean, each letter is connected to a number, that's what they call the Chaldean method, which is you know, basically like goes all the way back to, you know, Babylonia. You know,
Wow,
they had their
that's
own
cool.
number, you know, ways of, you know, dealing with the esoteric, I guess. So it's kind of from the Kabbalah number series. So
Yeah, no one's ever been in here talking about the numbers like that.
I started being interested in numerology probably I was 13 or 14. Maybe it's just because it was an easy way to learn about myself or the
Right.
future or whatever, who am I going to marry and that kind of thing. So,
Yeah,
but
when
I've
I
always
started
been
looking
interested.
things up, I was interested in, it seemed like it was hitting
I know.
on you, Kim.
I know.
Right, a
It's
couple of
amazing.
those things repeated themselves. Independence and harmony showed up in more than one of your birth dates. Your day, month, and year.
Yeah,
that was
like a
showing up.
crossover is what you're
Yeah,
telling me.
Right, so that kind of was confirmation for me. Because
Totally.
It showed up more than once. Right. We do a thing. We upcoming. You got any upcoming events? I know that. Well, look. Before we move to upcoming, let's talk about. You did a thing with our friend Darren.
Oh, that's right.
And Jamie. I thought it was just. I don't know if I read it, but then it's a blog, right? It's a video blog. Is that what you do?
Well, excuse me. Andy O'Reilly is the camera. He works the camera, so it was actually a taped interview, and that's on the website also. That's available on Roku and Amazon TV, but it's on the MuskegonChannel.com.
Okay.
So,
it
yep.
was so detailed on our friends.
Yeah.
What they do, because Jamie Ray's into all these different psychic abilities.
Right.
And
Psychic medium.
Right. You had all that stuff down, all those.
Yeah.
Those,
And Darren's an empath.
right.
Right.
So I was really interested in that. Also, I think you've interviewed, or you at least talked about, another one of our co-hosts. It's not here. Is Brandon Jose, and he's with Kent County Paranormal. And you did a thing. They were at the Muskegon library there, and did a thing on the SS, the ship there that was.
Oh, well, I did. I actually was out on the LST ship. We did a show from there. I don't think I interviewed the Kent
You
County.
talked about it though, that they
Yeah,
were doing.
we actually went on the LST. That's
Okay.
that was fascinating.
So you
to go on
know
the ship.
Grasp, Bill and
Oh, I've
Connie from
actually
Grasp.
yes. Oh, okay. I didn't recognize the name, but yes, I did. I actually met with them just to find out more about the group because they were meeting. They used to meet up at the church that I
I
went
was
to.
supposed to go to the
Okay.
church
Were you
for one
really?
of their meetings, and then
Yeah.
everything started falling apart.
Yeah.
They're really, they.
I've been on probably 3 different paranormal investigations with them, like at the Elks Club and so
Elks
forth.
Club is one of their popular.
In Grand
places,
Haven,
right?
the Elks Club is a hot spot. And I went on probably about 3 investigations. And, they've got stories. What goes on? There's a guy in the basement, sometimes he's not friendly. And there's been experiences from members of the group that,
At the Elks.
oh yeah, like
Yeah.
up in the attic. Sometime you ask Bill about the attic sometime. He doesn't like to talk about it, but
Kim and I
sometime.
actually met because Grasp put on their convention, the Ghost Coast Paranormal Convention,
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago now. That's where we met.
yeah.
It was through them.
Yep.
And Grasp is working on this para-unity right now. That's their goal. That's their mission. They're working on it hard. They're a real detailed group, real disciplined. They go through a lot of paperwork. It's redundant, but they like that fact, and they're covering themselves. And everybody that's doing this should be LLC. They should have liability insurance. You're going into people's homes. There's just that possibility that something might not work out. You might leave those people with nightmares, and you might end up in court. So if you're going to be a paranormal investigator, be LLC, be protected. Yeah, just you got to watch out.
Right. Yep. From your interview with Darren and Jamie Ray, you talked a lot about what their abilities were, what she does as a psychic medium, what he does as an empath. Did you learn anything from them based on your knowledge of that field? Did you share experiences with them, like, I did this works for me, or anything like that?
Well, I learned a lot because don't consider myself really like a ghost hunter, more like an alien
I wasn't
hunter.
sure if you were a paranormal investigator or not.
No, I guess that's probably why I did learn more about that, is because
Okay.
I don't necessarily. I was started out when I was younger, very interested, in ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I tend to think that I would rather leave them where they're at.
Right.
I don't, I don't.
Because,
go-
Darren has said in the past, hey, they go out, they do an investigation, and sometimes they are so drained that it takes them weeks to get back the strength that they've lost, potentially just from that one investigation. He probably shared that with you.
Yes, he did. We did. I did
Yeah,
ask him about
yeah,
that.
and
is
then
because how do you protect
Jamie
yourself
too.
From
She's got different abilities where, like almost like a psychic type thing. Where I think you said something about, there's different kinds of mediums. There's mental and physical. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Where mental mediums can kind of tune in by listening and sensing.
Yes.
And the physical mediums can more or less telepathically hear spirits
Yes.
and
clairaudience.
talk, like a clairvoyance of some sort.
Yes, they can actually. Some of them can actually manifest
It's
things out in the physical
amazing.
world.
Clairsentient.
Clairsentient,
Yes.
clairaudience.
Clairaudience.
Yeah, and some of it is they see it in their mind's eye,
Yes.
like as a visionary thing, or they can actually sense what they're feeling, and that's a way of communicating.
Yeah,
with
I think
them,
Jamie
so.
Ray said that she encountered all of these manifestations in her work, once seeing the apparitions of multiple spirits in a place where there had been a hanging. And that in that, besides the visual manifestation, she could feel the sadness and despair of the individuals. So that is, I mean, that is amazing that she has that sort of abilities.
Yeah, it is, and that would also be draining too.
Oh, I can't even
psychologically,
imagine
your emotion
feeling
too.
the sadness
Yeah,
of something
absolutely.
like that. Terrible.
One of my worst ones, I was a ghost hunter for 8 years, was 2 days I slept. I had spent the night in the basement where the deceased had spent most of his time. And I can't really say I experienced anything at the time, but I was so drained. I slept for 2 days straight after that. Was one of the worst ones. But I always use protection prayers. I encourage teams to say prayers before, after, maybe during. Learn how to ground yourself different ways, whether it's through crystals or
Right.
prayer or whatever.
I know. Yeah, Darren and Jamie are big into crystals and protection stones and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm interested in what you have brought up about how some of these different things are entwined and they overlap, whether it's Mothman and aliens, whether it's Bigfoot and aliens, whether it's ghost hunting and other things, whether the psychic ability, how they're all seem to be entwined into a paranormal center somehow, or gravity that, I don't know, they just seem to be connected. There's actually a term for that I don't know what it is, but it's where it talks about how everything's are brought together. They're linked together.
I think it goes back to that paradigm word, right? Where everything's kind of
Paradigm's
linked.
different.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe it comes from just the unity of the universe. That all things are connected. So I think a lot of psychic phenomena, things like poltergeist phenomena, could be, well, number one, it could be the people in the house are actually manifesting that. And so you can actually manifest something in the physical world because of your,
Your mind.
emotion, or your, just your intent, your emotions, and things like that. That can be the poltergeist. But maybe it's come from why you see, people are ghosts if they're haunting a place, after death, is just the reality that the spirit lives on after our physical bodies are gone.
I wonder if they're traveling on the same wavelength, or they're on that side of the veil together. We're on this side, they're on that side.
Very possibly.
We're peeking through back and forth. So I started to say any upcoming events or interviews or things that coming up that we need to watch for Paranormal Muskegon.
Well, we are just getting back started again after, things being closed down. So I am working on, couple of interviews. Nothing set right now, but I did get the go-ahead to go out there and look for some more stories. So in the Muskegon County area, we are looking for, anyone that has, something of the paranormal story that they would like to share with us. It could be remote viewing. It could be, maybe angelic, visitations, things like that. It doesn't have to be, just ghosts. We like those stories too, but, because there's such a range of the paranormal that, vortexes or wormholes or, anomalous, events besides that.
Do you know Rick Wade?
He's actually, I think I'm friends with him on Facebook, so I don't know him personally.
I didn't bring his book with me, but he's a seer.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be on the show. We've read,
I've read both of his
couple
books.
of his books and promoted him on the show. I don't know if he's going to make it back, but yeah, he's an interesting person. He's local. We have Ben Goldman of Afterlife Road coming in July. That's our first show. And then Chatan Noir, she's one of our good friends who we talked about. She did the Halloween show with us, and she's going to be in July for the second show. And then, I don't know if you heard, but the Gypsy Goddess Festival.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Allegan
That's
County.
right up your alley.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, July 31st through August 2nd, and our friend Mary Bassett's going to be out there with that. And then also the Mid-Michigan Paranormal Convention. That's in Flint, at Holiday Inn in Flint, and that's going to be November 8th. And that has Chatan Noir, Kristen Roberts Medium, and Kathleen Tenson. And I wanted to bring up Kathleen because we do shout-outs too. So she's the author of these 3 books. Haunted Travels of Michigan. She has a series of these 3 books. And also her new one, she wrote with her sister. Unfortunately, her sister has passed. Beverly Rydell passed. But Kathleen Tenson, Stepping into the Darkness. This is another one of her books. We like to promote local authors and people writing about Michigan. So all these places you can visit in Michigan. She has, like I say, there's 3 different volumes of this. So salute to them. Salute to the Whole Picture podcast here at WKTV. And Maddie's back. Maddie's helping out today. She's at the control board. And Nate, thanks to those guys. It wouldn't happen without them. Salute to Mary Bassett with Cryptid Frequencies. That's our radio show.
Yep.
Maybe you can be on that too, because there's so
fun.
much to talk about. And
Would
she
be.
does Across the Golden Veil, Spiritual Voices podcast. I talked about Kathleen already. We did, our final thought is what we'd like to end the show with. And our final thought would be, I'm wondering if you grew up with any superstitions in your house. I know there was a lot of different ones in our house that we would drop silverware on the floor. My mom would go, "Well, we're having company," and it would depend on whether it was a fork or spoon or a knife.
Yeah.
What kind of company you were going to have.
No
But I wonder if
kidding.
you grew up with any of those sort of superstitions.
Yeah, I did grow up with a family that, the belief in that sort of thing. My mom's Scotch-Irish, so a lot of the stories she had, she would tell us that if you peel an apple and on a certain, I think it's Halloween night, you throw it behind your shoulder and then you knew whatever the shape of the letter would be or who you're going to marry. My grandmother used to tell stories about seeing frogs fall from the sky.
Oh, yeah.
That was always fascinating to me. The idea is that frogs actually fell when it rained.
Right.
And my grandfather's story about seeing the ghost on the bridge. So yeah, I grew up with a lot of those stories of, the paranormal and the mysterious. So
Throwing salt over the shoulder.
oh yeah,
What does that mean?
I do that. It means
Oh,
if
see?
you if you drop your broom or spill the salt, then
Spill
you
the
have
salt.
to throw it over your shoulder.
Yeah, throw it over
So
your shoulder.
yeah, my
Otherwise, what's going to happen?
well, it's bad luck.
Bad luck. Yeah,
It's just as bad as breaking a mirror. So
That was one of mine.
Yeah.
and if you break a mirror, you're supposed to take it out, the pieces out, and go and bury it in a graveyard.
Oh.
I thought, no,
I
think
did not know
I think I'm
that.
gonna have the
Did you know
bad
that?
luck.
No. We had fortune cookies in here. And we did a thing, we cracked them open to see if it had anything. But, stuck or applied to us. And one of them people say, hey, well, you got to eat the cookie or it's bad luck.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
you knew
heard
that too?
Yeah. Yeah. you
There's
did
so
the
many of
cookie.
these things out there. It's crazy.
Well,
Yeah, I have several
Kim
books.
has a couple of them. I know.
Mine is the turkey wishbone, right?
Oh, yeah. No,
Oh,
I do the
me and
turkey
my uncles
wishbone.
would
Yeah.
fight tooth and nail to get that, to be the one to pull.
Yeah.
So actually that tug of war goes back a long ways, and I didn't even know that. I had to research it just a little bit to see what started it all. And it was actually first century Romans used to fight over the dried wishbones, believed to be they were good luck, and whoever got the biggest bit of bone gets their wish.
Right, that's how it works.
That's how
Wish
it works.
upon a falling star.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Black cats are cross your path. Bad
Okay,
luck.
before the next show, eat a turkey. Bring in the wishbone.
Oh, we do all the chicken.
You and I
chicken
are going to do.
bones.
You and I can do the wishbone.
See who gets the good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are funny things.
Yeah.
Well, there is a way you can cheat with the bones, so.
Uh-oh. Grab it up higher or
Yeah,
what?
you put your thumb up on where the little tip is, and then when you pull it, it's gonna get the end of it.
Rabbits
See, now
are
you're gonna
supposed to
fight
be
over-
good luck. No, I don't know. it
Yeah,
wasn't too
not to
good
the
luck.
rabbit.
Not for the rabbit, right? Yeah, there's so many of those things out there, and they were all in our household.
Okay,
Yours
I got to
too,
tell you a
Kim?
real funny one because I ran this past my husband, right? I said, did you have any growing up? His family was huge fishermen, especially up at Burt Lake. If you caught a sucker fish, you had to kiss it.
Oh no.
If you didn't kiss it, you weren't going to catch a fish the rest of the day.
I've heard things like that out hunting and fishing.
Yes.
Right. I haven't practiced any of that stuff.
So my
though.
nephew caught a sucker.
Oh, yeah.
This sucker had warts all over its
Oh,
face. It was
yikes.
nasty.
Yeah, they're not cute.
Yeah, no. He didn't kiss it. So guess what happened?
No more fish?
No more fish.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any truth to those, but it sure acted like it when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a fact. My mom was stating facts. That's pretty much it. I
Yeah.
think we covered it. I want to leave. Last week I touched on a subject, what's going on in the world right now. I think we need to think about our differences and maybe embrace what's unique. That's what I talked about. So I have this little poem. It's by Patricia Ellen Roncart, and it's entitled "The Crayon Age." There's no difference between the white ones and the black ones, or the red ones, or even the yellow ones. It's all in your mind. They all taste the same. So, I mean, whether it's a purple people eater or what, I mean, I think we're all the same. Embrace your differences. Don't think that people are weird. I don't think you're weird. I think you're fascinating. You've been a
Thank you. I
fascinating
appreciate it.
guest.
Thanks. I appreciate you letting me come
Thanks
on.
for coming.
Yeah,
Mary.
thanks for coming. Appreciate it so much. Peace out.